Live text access, training for real-time intralingual subtitlers. Unit 6, Velotyping, Element 4, Editing Skills. This video lecture explains the pre-editing strategies to be applied before an event takes place. On completion of this training sequence, you will be able to discipline yourself to practice and improve skills like gathering information and shortcuts and short forms. This is the agenda. We will first look at gathering information, then creating shortcuts and short forms, and in the end a summary will be given. Gathering information. When providing a professional intralingual subtitling service, it is very important that words, names and acronyms are spelled correctly. Therefore, you should prepare in the best way possible. The first step is to get the agenda or schedule of a meeting. Not only will this show which topic is being presented or discussed, but also you can copy the correct spelling of the names of the speakers. In some cases, you can also receive a list of names from the participants. For example, this is relevant in a meeting or AGA for an association. In case there is a roll call, it is important to have this list beforehand. When presenters are going to read a speech from paper, it is of course very good to have the speech available when it is being read out. You can either have this on paper beside you and typing along, or to have it digitally played out, for example by using the text on top script player, which will be shown later. Secondly, it is good to have the PowerPoint files available beforehand. From these PowerPoints, you can also extract the jargon, specific words used during the meeting, but also other names and acronyms. In addition, it is good to see if this event has taken place before, and if you can find information online about it. If not, try to do research in similar events on this topic. When working in education or the workplace, most of the time the service is being provided to only one person with a hearing impairment. As preparation for these meetings, it is very helpful if you get more information about the content of the lessons or the meeting beforehand. In case of education, it is usually not so relevant to indicate who is speaking. Usually, this will be the teacher or professor, and his or her name is known. When questions or comments come from the student or audience, this can be indicated, but this can also be a big challenge. In case of a business meeting, for example around a table, an overview of the people sitting around this table can help. That way, in case of a discussion or quick change of speakers, the speaker can be indicated. So that way it is clear who says what. Again, it is good to do research on the topic of the lesson or meeting beforehand to be prepared. When working more often in certain settings, of course, you will get more experience about the topic and build up a dictionary or glossary of words. For TV subtitling, we will only look at live and semi-live programs. Pre-prepared subtitling is out of the scope. With semi-live programs, you are able to receive texts or videos beforehand, so prepare a number of possible subtitles which can be played out during the broadcast. This could, for example, be short videos of interviews, but also the autocue text of the newsreader or scripts, which you can use to prepare subtitles. From these videos and texts, you can also collect names and words that might be used in the live parts of the broadcast. For sports programs, research can be done about the specific sport itself. It is important to know how to spell certain vocabulary used in that type of sports. Of course, the spelling of the people is important. For news programs, it is important to keep up to date with the current topics. Names and words can easily be researched. Make sure you use the same spelling as your subtitling colleagues. For example, using a whiteboard in the subtitling department showing the current topics and spelling of names is useful. And as for talk shows, it is good to find out which people will participate in the show and do a bit of research about their background. When working as a parliamentary velotypist, you are normally working for the same people, that is the members of the parliament. These names and the names of their parties must be in the software vocabulary for the whole duration of the legislature. On top of them, you should also add the names of people who work together with the parliament, like ministers, the head of state and the like. For each session, you always have an agenda. The agenda contains the topics that are going to be discussed. Normally, it is a law to be discussed and voted or the question time with the government. Besides the agenda, you also have preparation material, like proposals, a previous parliamentary report, the summary report, or other annexes. Some software programs allow you to feed them with digital documents, and they automatically spot the ones that are not present in the vocabulary. In case your software does not, you can always do this manually. Shortcuts and short forms. There are a few tips and tricks for using shortcuts or short forms for Velotype. You can automatically capitalize acronyms, for example in EU when it becomes capitalized EU and USA becomes capitalized USA. Besides that, names and or words that will be frequently used in a meeting but which are not so common can be added with, for example, the initial letter followed by an X or Z. So NX becomes Netherlands or AX becomes accessibility. When you have a list of names, for example, with speakers or players of a football team, then you could use numbers plus single letters. But besides that, you can think of your own system which makes sense for you, that saves time to type difficult or long words. Other input systems have a slightly different approach. In re-speaking, words have to be added to the vocabulary, and it makes use of macros, where words are pronounced slightly different to make sure the right word is recognized. And with Stenotype, the shortcut for indicating a speaker is using the first syllable twice. For example, Don would convert to Donald Trump. The summary. In this video lecture, we have seen some pre-editing strategies, or strategies to be applied before a speech takes place. In particular, we have seen how to collect terminological information for each context: a TV program, a conference speech, a parliamentary session, a meeting or a school class. Then we have also seen how to create short forms and shortcuts in general. The exercises. The exercises for this video lecture are in the trainer's guide for this unit and in the PowerPoint presentation. All materials are available on our website www.ltaproject.eu. LTA Live Text Access, Universitat Autónoma de Barcelona, SDI, Internationale Hochschule, Scuola Superiore per Mediatori Linguistici, ZDF Digital, European Federation of Hard of Hearing People FHO, Velotype, Subt Access. European Certification and Qualification Association ECQA. Co-funded by the Erasmus Plus program of the European Union. Erasmus Plus project 2018-1-DE01-KA203-004218. The information and views set on this presentation are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the official opinion of the European Union. Neither the European Union institutions and bodies, nor any person acting on their behalf, may be held responsible for the use which may be made of the information contained here.